I wasn't doing all of that. I was just
Yeah.
busy with things that are not part of something that fulfills me deeply. And all of this really fulfills me. I get, yeah, I'm a part of changing the dating scene because that's one of my missions of that people that we will all start to take responsibility for ourselves. And of course, you can F up. We're still human, but that we go within and keep returning within and then becoming
Mm,
so much more together. And when we create that all with each other, love is one of the things that we came here for, right? Love, sex, food. That's why we have a body, but not to have these blame, shame, guilt. I'm not good enough because I'm not 20 anymore and my bum is not as tight and blah, blah, blah. It's
right.
none of that. It's all being the beacon of light by
Yes.
loving ourselves as hard as we can.
Welcome to the Delicious Alignment and the Art of Abundance podcast. We cover topics related to health, wealth, and happiness from a spiritual and metaphysical point of view. I'm your host, author, and intuitive coach, Rhonda Ryder. So, whether you're interested in dating or not, I think you're going to love today's discussion with Victoria-Monique Balmatie Jagroe. Hope I got your name right, Victoria. So yeah, because Victoria is fantastic and we're talking about all kinds of things spiritual and metaphysical and as it relates to non-attachment. And specifically here we're talking about dating. Victoria is a YouTube personality, a transformational coach, an athlete, and a creator of a vegan lipstick. Yes, she is multifaceted and pretty amazing. In this interview, Victoria candidly shares her journey of overcoming a heart-wrenching breakup. Most of us have been there. Her insights on using Neville Goddard's teachings and her experiences in dating and self-love. We explore the importance of focusing on oneself, releasing resistance, and having fun while being single and while dating and while being married. We also talk about practical tips for attracting a romantic partner and the importance of following your intuition. I share a lot too, including my 11 years of navigating the dating arena as a single mom before marrying my husband. Let me see. 20 years ago now? Yes, 20 years ago. So I also want to say when I interviewed Victoria, this interview took place back in March for this podcast. She was still single, but since that time I checked in with her and she has met someone and says she is very much in love. She also knows she can change her mind at any given moment as she continues to follow her guidance and trust her intuition. So without further ado, I can't wait to introduce you to Victoria. Let's get started. Hi, Victoria.
Hey, Rhonda.
So great to chat with you today about this delicious topic.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be here. You know that I've been a fan of yours for a while, so it's really cool that now I'm being interviewed on one of my favorite shows. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you so much. And I know you have your own YouTube channel, and we'll get into all that, let people know all about the stuff you have going on. But first, we want to chat about dating, dating in law of attraction, metaphysical world that you and I live in. A lot of my listeners and your listeners, it's a whole different ball game. And like I shared with you before, I will live vicariously through you because I'm married and I am no longer dating. But I have lots of stories, and not that I'm going to get into them today. We'll see what happens. But I love this topic because I remember when I was in the dating arena and really using these principles for that as well, creating what you want and attracting and allowing what you want and all that kind of stuff. So I know that you're the one that came up with this topic. So where would you like to start? What would you like to share about it?
I'm going to give you the short version. When everything clicked together for me, that was pretty recently. And because of a very heart-wrenching breakup, which happened a couple of years ago in Berlin, I literally thought, I don't want to live anymore because I don't want to live because it was so painful, Rhonda. And I remember there was a point in the day that I felt so low that I felt like my soul was going to leave my body literally. And I know that we can choose when we step out or when we stay. And I didn't care what would happen. So what happened that evening when I turned off my phone, I managed to get myself to a yoga class on this particular day. So it was already, we had broken up. I had gotten into the teachings of Neville Goddard to get this guy back, only for that, for nothing else. Little did I know that was my path to get deeper into these kinds of teachings. Anyway, I had wished for something that had happened the night that I turned off my phone. So I turned on my phone the next day, and there's a missed call from this guy, my ex. And I was like, finally, contact. My heart was racing, everything. I called him back. I said, hey, you called me, hopeful. And he said, yeah, you're not going to believe this. I didn't call you. My phone called you. I was sitting on the couch. My phone started calling you. And then from that point, I was like, okay, I'm staying in this life. I'm staying in this game. This is too interesting. Okay, fast forward to a lot of years later, I have grown, matured, so to speak, around this whole topic of dating and love. And I had some interesting experiences after this particular man. And at one point I thought, this is my thing. Because I always keep coming back to wanting to know how this stuff works. And there was a point, there was a period of time, a big period of time, that I was super ashamed of being single. I always thought, oh, this says something about me, about my value. So I was so ashamed of this, Rhonda, that I didn't want to communicate because I knew this is something that I should research. But I didn't want to come out of the closet that I was a single person. And from the moment that I decided, wait a minute, shame? What is shame anyway? Because I know that shame is just an emotion to keep people small and down. It's not like we didn't make it up. It's made up for whatever reasons, and I don't really care. So at the moment that I felt that super strongly and threw that shame off and came out of the closet, like everything has been mind-blowingly amazing, vibrationally, all the things that are happening around me. And I just started with the interviews, Ask a Hot Dude, and hot between brackets, because who's to say what's hot?
Yeah. What does that mean? You started a show? What does that mean?
So I started a series of interviews. So this is why I knew that this is my shtick, for now at least. All the information that's out there is, if you behave, you will get this and that. And I don't believe it has anything to do with that. I believe it's become who you are meant to be. Oprah gave me, because
Oprah,
I asked...
who Ramona Gailey channels, yes.
Yeah, I asked in a private session with Oprah, and I also put that live on my channel. And actually, that's when it started, because I already put the clip up on my channel, but it was on private because I was just ashamed to put it live. And when I realized this and felt this freedom, I was like, what? Shame? So I published it. And in this clip, I asked Oprah, where's my dude? He's taking a really long time.
That's the name. That's the name of the video, right? The title, Where's My Dude?
Where's My Dude? Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
I
love it. Very, very good titling there, my friend.
Yeah, actually, it's also what I said to Oprah. I said, Oprah, where's my dude? And Oprah said to me, And I love this because I know this stuff. Anyway, she said to me, as you learn to love your body in new ways, literally my body, as I learn to love my physical body in new ways, I will learn to love others similarly. And then from that, I will vibrate higher and higher, become a beacon of light, and they will find you. These are my words, right? If people are interested, they can check the video to hear what Oprah had to say exactly.
I'll link it. I'll link it in the show notes.
Perfect. So it's all about me focusing on my highest excitement and not thinking and looking, okay, is this the dude? Are you the dude? Are you the... No, because that takes me away from me. And all of the rules that are given out there, and it's fine because there are multiple ways to roam. I just like the easiest way to roam, and the way that is the way that I love to take again, which is working on me.
Yeah.
Being whole and fulfilled myself and seeing the results that come from that. And what do you know? There's stuff happening.
Yeah. Okay. So just to rewind a little bit and just touch on a few things that you said. The first one is you mentioned Oprah, the channel, said something about loving your body when you love your body more. So I guess my question is, did you have an issue with your body? Because I see you, all your videos, and you're in the gym all the time, and you're doing these amazing things, monkey bars and yoga positions, and just really doing very athletic, very into fitness and working out, and work with a lot of women with their bodies, helping them love their bodies. So I'm curious, because Oprah said that to you. Did you have an issue, or we all do to some extent, but what was that all about?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So at first, when she said that, I was surprised because I thought, I do love my body. And then I understood, because when something resonates with me, it takes some time to figure out like what was meant. And for sure, I had an issue in the sense of that I was constantly judging myself for certain things. And where is judgment focused at my being, or not at my being, at my physical being, which is the body. So for me, I always really loved my body, and there was a lot of judgment. Because, for instance, I was jumping rope every day. At one point, my knee was like, I don't like this. And I was like, yeah, but you have to like it because I want to stay on track and I don't want to lose my fitness. And so that's not really loving. That is judgy.
Right.
So from that point, I tuned in more and more. And I think it will be a constant, like it's a journey till the day I take my last breath. And there's a big difference between the moment that Oprah said to me, when you learn to love your body in new ways, and where I am today speaking to you.
Yeah. So it is a unfolding that keeps on getting better. Not like I'm 100% for me loving my body, but I'm pretty darn close. And compared to where I come from with really the lots and lots of self-criticism, but so that's changed and all of that. So I just wanted to hear your story on that. But okay, so back to the dating.
Yeah.
Tell me like what's happening now and how you're having fun with that. Are you dating? Are you dating anybody?
Let me first go back to what happened. This was actually also because obviously we didn't mention Gina yet, but most of your listeners have heard of Gina Mallison in the meantime. And if they haven't, Gina Mallison teaches about calibrations. And I've had a couple of calibrations in the beginning with her on dating. And I remember after a particular important one where I released a lot of resistance, Rick, the guy that I just published an interview with today, Ask a Hot Dude, Rick came to me in the gym literally the day after. And I
The
was
day
like,
after you got calibrated by Gina on dating?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
But actually, there were two men. So there was one man waiting for me to finish my training. And I woke up and I was looking, and there were two men waiting for me. And I was like, what?
Not one, but two. After calibration.
I was so startled. I thought, what is going on here? But anyway, Rick was
I love it. I love it.
It was really funny. That happens when we lose resistance and when we just allow ourselves to move energy. Anyway.
At the right moment, I want to share how I met my husband. And I just putting a mental note there because it was like releasing resistance. And like I was just like, I don't care. And then, so anyway, we'll bring that in later.
Yeah, the first man since that time, since the releasing of the resistance, since me loving my body more and being very focused on my own vibration and not so much on, is he my dude? Is he my dude? Oh, he's hot. Is he my dad? So Rick came to me, and and I could feel he was on a mission. And my first response was, okay, back up. So what I've learned, Rhonda, and we're going a bit from here to there, but what I've learned is my body has very specific wishes. And when she says, I say she about my body, when she says, I better listen, because when I don't, so my body has intuition. And it's not that Rick was not the right person or whatever. It was just my response. Whoa.
Physically, like when someone's in your space, you just felt in your body like, oh, wait a minute.
It was too intense. His energy was too intense. And I needed space to allow myself to get to know him. Because something that is, I don't really care. I'm just going to say it. This is pretty personal. And I don't care because we don't do shame. So I haven't been physically intimate with someone for over 3 years because my body just doesn't. There have been opportunities, but I just didn't want to. So all of this to say that I feel like my body's fine-tuning more and more. I almost feel like I'm a virgin again, which is also totally fine. And I also think
like it's a virgin. Yeah.
Beautiful process, because I'm rediscovering what it means to be physically attracted to someone. And while we're now with Rick. So a couple of things have happened since. And your question was, are you dating? I'm not dating, and there is someone. So there's something unfolding, and that's super vague. And I do not want to be any more clear than that. Because
I totally get it. There's a love interest.
Yeah, right? But it's a bit more than that even.
It's more than that. With this guy, with this Rick guy.
We are friends in the meantime, and I love him. He's a beautiful guy. And this interview that I did with him, he's in Brazil now, South America. When we spoke, I thought, wow, you're so much deeper than I gave him credit for, actually. And he's been a couple of times to my place here in Amsterdam, because he also lives in Amsterdam and he's not here at the moment. And there was something developing, like I started to develop feelings, and then he decided to leave to South America, which at first I was disappointed because I thought, I'm doing all the work. It's going in the right direction. And now he leaves. So I felt like it was a failure. It wasn't a failure. He is not the person for now, for me to be intimate with. I'm also learning to trust what's going on. Sarah Landon said it really potently, or the council recently, that I got it. Because I had a period of time that I didn't trust myself because of this breakup. We were each other's lists. He said to me, you're everything on my list. And I said to him, you're everything on my list. And when that fell apart, I thought I messed up because I create my own personal reality. And then when I heard the council say, so it's the expectations that you have that caused a disappointment, which caused a lack of trust. For me, I was like, this is my guy. We're going to get married. If I would have known what I know now, and it's all fine because it's all learning in the grand scheme of things, and that's why I'm here, expansion. If I would have known, like Abraham also says, I like you pretty good right now. Let's see how it goes. But I was like, no, we're getting married. So this expectation was shattered to 5 million pieces. And now I understand, just go. I'm just going with the flow without having to know. And obviously that's a practice. Like now I feel very calm about it. Tomorrow I can be super frustrated for a couple of moments until I release resistance again. So now I know, the expectations, I can trust myself. If I can't trust myself, what do I have, right? So it's all about self, love for self and trust of self.
Yeah. When you say expectations, I think of it also as attachments. Like this is my dude, we're going to get married. And then we get very attached to different things. I was talking to a client yesterday, and she is very attached to, this is the house I want. This is the house we're going to buy, and it's this house. And just like walking through that, that's great. And we even visualized on it. We did a visualization exercise, but again, letting go of the attachment of this is the thing. It's going to look this way.
Yeah.
And a soft desire, right? Having a desire for something and then letting it go. And not to say, and trust. And not to say that you have a strong desire, say, to get married to this particular person. Yes, that's nothing wrong with that. It's just like going with the flow, though, and realizing not being attached.
Yeah. And now I'm also at a point, which took me a while. Whenever someone said that, I just wanted to pull their hair, like this or something even better.
Oh, you wanted to pull their hair.
And now, a couple of moment points later, years, I know, because there have been something even better, because I couldn't believe there could be anything better than my then partner. Like he was everything, Rhonda, to the T. Or at least
how long were you guys together?
A couple of years.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And you obviously really loved him a lot. And
it was attachment. When I look back at everything, it was just like, he's the list. I got to keep him because he's the list.
He checks off everything on the list. Yeah.
But later, like I evolve. My wants evolve. What I want to be with, who I want to be myself evolves. And from this whole ordeal, I finally got to the point where I started to do what I came here to do, which is dive deep in Neville teachings, the council, Bashar, yoga. I've been teaching yoga for a couple of years. I will be teaching yoga again. So all of these things, I wasn't doing all of that. I was just busy with things that are not part of something that fulfills me deeply. And all of this really fulfills me. I get, I'm a part of changing the dating scene, because that's one of my missions, of that people, that we will all start to take responsibility for ourselves. And of course, you can F up. We're still human. But that we go within and keep returning within, and then becoming so much more together. And when we create that all with each other, love is one of the things that we came here for, right? Love, sex, food. That's why we have a body. But not to have these blame, shame, guilt. I'm not good enough because I'm not 20 anymore and my bum is not as tight and blah, blah, blah. It's none of that. It's all being the beacon of light by loving ourselves as hard as we can.
I want to take a quick second to make sure you know about a few free gifts I have for you, including my Love Your Body, Love Your Life online course, which includes over 20 short videos based on my 5 steps to loving your body and making peace with food. There are other free goodies for you as well when you go to deliciousalignment.com/resources, including my free guided visualization on abundance. When you sign up for the free guided visualization, you are also going to receive 6 of my top interviews on prosperity. You can also purchase my book, Delicious Alignment: How 25 Women Learn to Love and Transform Their Bodies Using Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction, on Amazon. And you can also contact me about one-on-one coaching. You'll find these free gifts and more, like I said, at deliciousalignment.com/resources. Now back to the interview. So I want to tell the story of how I met my husband. Yeah, because it falls into the conversation of non-attachment. And so we're together, let's see, my daughter's 27, so we're together 20 years, since we met. And prior to that, I was a single mom, and I, at that time, was doing Match.com. There were a lot of opportunities. I was having a lot of fun. And finally, I said, I just need a break. You go out 2 times a week, meeting somebody for the first time, just doing that whole thing. And after a while, it was like, okay, I'm taking a break. I had to break up with someone because he wanted children. He was a little bit younger than me, and I was like, nope, I'm been there, done that. I've got a girl and a boy. I'm good. So we had to break up, and that was really sad because I really liked him. He was so nice. But then after that, I was like, okay, I'm just taking a 6-month break from this dating thing. I need a break from all of this, and I'm just gonna focus on me. But so it was like I didn't care. I got to that, I don't care. And a lot of people say that if you don't care, if you're not trying, that's what when it happens, when you're not even trying. Because I did ultimately want to meet someone and get married as well. Now, that's the thing you need to do, but that's what I wanted. So anyway, yeah, I met him. We were going to these pool parties. He was there, mutual friend, and then he threw me in the pool, whatever. It was just like, that was his way of getting, of showing me that he liked me. It was fun. But anyway, we wound up dating, and that was it. But my point is that I really didn't care at that point. Like, I was not looking. And so I find that interesting, that when we're trying, whether it's creating more money or finding a relationship or anything that you want, it can be this thing where you're trying, or you're attached to wanting it, having these expectations. And then when you let go, like you have a desire and you let go, that is the quote unquote, seems to be the formula, seems to be the secret to the secret, that letting go of resistance.
Yeah. And that is so true. And I believe that's something. So the universe also expands and evolves. And I know that the whole forget about it and it will come, that works for sure. And I also know from experience now, because I've been playing with this for a while, that I can have the desire come into fulfillment when I'm not attached. So I can be like, playfully play with it. Because when I'm like, it has to happen, that's attachment. I can still have the desire for the money, for the guy, for the whatever, without the attachment, and going with it playfully. Just to say, for anyone that's listening and thinks, but I have to forget about it, then I can't forget about it. So it's not about you have to forget about it. It's about being open, it not being this person, being open to it not happening next week, knowing that it will happen and that it will be someone really amazing because we created ourselves. So we're not going to put someone on our path that we're like, okay, I'm just going to choose you because apparently that's you. No, it's someone, speaking about love, that we will really like. And we need to butt out like who it is. We can still enjoy and play, but the whole idea is play.
Yeah.
Let it be fun.
Yes. Yeah. And to your point about it's not to say that you need to forget about it, because when it comes up, when it comes into your mind and it feels
Yeah.
good and it's fun to think about it, great. But the
Mm.
moment it's like feels a little wobbly and not so fun to think about it, pivot, think about something else, get a calibration if it won't go away, this yucky feeling. But feeling good is the main thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to forget about it. And you can also visualize. I love visualization. I do want to ask you a question about law of assumption in a second. And you can visualize about it. That is so powerful. Like, just take 5 minutes and just see yourself there with your beloved. He could have a face, he could have a name, or he or they or them or she. And just like bask in that, see it, experience it as if it's happening right now. Pre-pave it, write it in your journal, and just knowing that, okay, also, I'm not going to be attached to a certain specific result. Let it unfold however it unfolds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me ask you about the law of assumption. And here's why I want to ask that, because I have a friend, it was a while ago, she was telling me about how she wanted this specific guy. You know,
Yeah.
she had gone out with him and then they
Mhm.
broke up. He broke up with her. And then she told me that she's using law of assumption to get him back. And I thought that was interesting because that sounds a little bit like attachment to me. Again, I want that specific person, but she was swearing by the law of assumption, which is, um, where is that from again? Is that Neville Goddard or yes? And so can you talk a little bit about the law of assumption?
So what would you like to know specifically?
She was writing out things as if they were already done.
Yeah.
So you're assuming, which I love act as if, is it the same thing? Like for me, I might pre-pave and write out everything as if it's already happened. Talk about it like it's happening. Oh, I want a second house. This is true. I want a second house, like a vacation rental. So I could go ahead in my journal and write down, we have our second property and we're renting it out. It's making us so much money. We also get to go and stay in it. So is that law of assumption?
That is, it is
Okay.
law, that is law of assumption. And so different teachers call it different things. With regards to specific people, there's an interesting, I'm not sure if you can say dichotomy, like there are different camps of people. One says it's possible, the other says it's not possible. And I have a take on it that's in the middle. I believe that it's possible for sure. You can manifest a specific person. There is a but to it, however. So because this is how I got into Neville Goddard, because I wanted and I needed this person back. I was extremely attached to it. It was not healthy. It was not good for my health. And it's all fine because in the grand scheme of things, it got me to where I am now. And I've been through all the ups and downs that you can think of. I've been there. I've manifested crazy success in there and also crashed and burned many times. So connecting the dots backwards, because that's what I love to do. Like I'm hyper aware of what I'm using, what teachings I'm using, and the results that I'm seeing. So now thinking and looking back and feeling back, I already knew viscerally that it was not good what I was doing. Because every time I was busy with the law of assumption and every time I was super focused on him, my body would feel off. And now I understand what it was. It was my body that said, cut it out. He's not the one. Stop it. I didn't want to listen because I wanted what I wanted. I would say, because everyone has this system. We all have a body and we all have an inner being, which speaks to us through our feelings and our intuition. So whenever you do the law of assumption and you feel like this is what I want to experience, go for it. If it feels good. If it feels good, do it. Also, if it doesn't feel good, do it, because you will reap the fruits of the labor in any case. Like, it will be bitter fruits or there will be sweet fruit. Do whatever how your body responds to you. So the law of assumption is a thing. It is real and it works. And the question is, do you want it to work because you're attached, or do you want it to work because this is really your path?
And being open to whatever unfolds, because your inner being, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, knows the whole picture. And we don't necessarily know the whole picture. And that's why listening to your body is like listening to your intuition, which knows it's guiding you. Your body is always communicating to you. And I love how you keep weaving that in, because that is just such a wonderful way to access intuition as well. Like, your body knows yes or no.
Yeah. And our higher self speaks through the inner being with us. Like, it's a trinity. The higher self on the mountaintop, this is Bashar's analogy. The higher self is on a mountaintop. The personality self, me, body, is in the valley. And then the inner being is the link between the two. So the inner being is attached to both, to the higher self on the mountaintop. It's like that string on a balloon. And that's how it communicates through, to me, the personality. Better not. Yeah, but I want to. Yeah, but better not. And it's all fine, because nothing goes wrong. It's just sometimes I think now, oh, what a waste of time. And I also know, perfect. Apparently I needed that time. And now I just know, next time I will listen sooner. Or actually, there won't be a next time, because there's a whole different way that I look at all of these things now.
There'll be a new time. New experience. Yeah. So what would you say to someone listening who is dating and would like to either find someone, a companion, or would like to find a significant life partner, or just someone to have some fun with and spend time with, have a romance, have some excitement? What would you say to someone who is really has a strong desire for all of that? What are some, I want to say tips, but I don't even know if that's the right word, because we're in a metaphysical law of attraction-y kind of conversation, but from that viewpoint, not like dating tips, so to speak.
But there are tips. There are metaphysical. The new rules, let's call them the new rules. The new rules are no rules. So if you're not at that point yet where you can tune in clearly yourself, because I listen very attentively, and I have a breathing practice that I do sometimes once a day, mostly a couple of times a day, and always to tune in, okay, what wants to make itself known to me. If you're not there yet yourself, or I don't know if it's intuition or if it's fear or if it's someone else, collective consciousness, then I would say follow. Do you feel good? Does thinking of dating feel good? If not, there might be something to work through, and you can figure that out in numerous ways. There are people that can help you with that. If you meet someone, because I think some people say, don't go online dating, but if it's inspired action, I met people through online dating that was super inspired action. It was like, yes. And you can also sense through the inter-ethers, because everything is energy in the end, and it doesn't matter if someone's online or if someone's standing next to you. You can sense into it. feel, do they feel good? Or is there something that says, not sure? Listen to that. Listen to it. And most of all, make it playful. It's not serious. We're making all of this stuff so serious. And I've been one of these people, and sometimes I still am. And I constantly remind myself, this is playful. It's fun.
Yes. Yes.
And I want that person and it needs to happen. That's not playful at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. I remember, oh my God, when I was single, I had this platonic friend and we were talking about dating all the time because we were both single and we started writing a book together. I was so into this. It was really good. It was a good book, but I never published it. It was about how to, I don't even know what we called it, but it was about having a certain amount of leads in the hopper, like a sales term. Because my problem at the time, or my challenge, was I would get attached. I would go out on a date, and if I really liked the guy, I would be one of those women who would be waiting by the phone for them to call. So codependent, very attached to someone that I liked. And so we found a solution to that. We said, if you have multiple leads in the hopper, like you're talking to multiple people, not necessarily you're intimate with all of them. And actually, we said just be intimate with one of them. So you're getting your needs met. So you're not so desperate when you're actually out on a date. So it was all these like games and rules. And at the time, this was a long time ago. And so this book was really fun. And it actually helped me because I found myself not being so attached and codependent when I did meet somebody that I liked because I was talking to some other people, just talking or chatting online or whatever, or actually going on dates. And so that I wasn't, all my, what did we call it? All our eggs weren't in one basket, so to speak. At the time, that was very helpful to me because it helped me not be so codependent with that one person and just let things evolve. And then eventually I did meet someone by just continually over time releasing more and more resistance and loving myself, which the journey led to more going within eventually.
What I can say, because I would love to respond to what you said before, and it inspired something that I would love to say about that. So it's not about poo-pooing on any rules or things that people do, because it's about whatever feels good. And if you feel really comfortable, safer, if you would have 5, what was the term you used?
Leads in the hopper. I can't remember what we were calling it, but it's like a sales term. Yeah.
Yeah. Leads, I know, but hopper, I know whopper, but okay. So if that feels good to you, it's fine.
Yeah.
Where it becomes problematic, because it's still not a problem, but where it becomes problematic is if you feel like you have to strategize because otherwise ABC. Because that's not what it's about. It's about, and as I said, like there are multiple ways to Rome. Which is your way? My way is the easy way. Like okay, I've got me. I've got this. Because for me, if I would go in a whole rule book, then when everything goes to pieces, then who's going to pick me up? Not me, because I've broken down because the rules didn't work. Do you know what I mean? I'm working on having my own back. I'm having my own back. I'm fulfilled and whole within me. I'm playing. I'm looking forward to play with someone else, and that.
Yeah.
So that is, if anyone takes anything from this interview on dating, is follow what feels good and play. Have fun. Flirt. My God, I've been flirting my head off. It's amazing. I'm finally allowing myself. I figured out so many things that I was believing that was just like, interesting. Where did that come from? And not necessarily that I need to know. It's just so nice to just not mine. Ciao. What's that? No, not thinking that either. So I'm giving myself permission to be fully free and fully me. And I'm enjoying all of the attention and whatnot, what comes with that.
I just love this topic because obviously if I wrote a book about it, I was really interested in the whole thing. And it's funny because it was like a game. I was having so much fun meeting different people and all of that. And then on Match.com, and which I don't even know if that still exists, but then the way that I met my husband was just not through any action, just showing up at these parties, these pool parties. And he wasn't even on my radar. It was just like he was there and was just like some guy. And then we wound up together. And so it's just so funny how the universe, or we are the universe, is orchestrating the events. You can't, even if you tried, you couldn't plan it out like as good as that.
I have so many stories, Rhonda, of like how, because everyone that I dated was a perfect manifestation of a really strong desire. And my very first boyfriend, I had been in love with him for 2 years. I had him seen play basketball in the school gym, and he was one of the most popular guys in school. And everyone was like, him, forget it. Look at you, look at him, like literally, right? That's what people, you know how it goes in school. Like people are not really mindful of what they say. In any case, 2 years later, he was my boyfriend. And it all came together in the craziest, beautiful way. And so I also wrote out a lot of these stories and I made videos about them because they're so nice to share. And I had not have been able to think up how we would eventually meet and come together. I didn't know anything about manifesting then. How old was I? 14, almost 15. And he was 18. So, you know, this beautiful blonde guy, blue eyes. I saw pictures of him recently. I thought, I would totally fall for you again.
Where was this? Where did you grow up? In Germany or where?
No, in Horen, in Holland. Yeah, I was born in South America. I grew up in Holland, in Horen. And so it is so beautiful when we just get out of the way. And you know what? Like one thing that I know, and that's also what Oprah said, or Ramona said when I interviewed her about this, because I also interviewed Ramona on dating. Focus on things that you love. And I remember that every night I was just like, Gideon, I thought his name was Gideon. It turned out to be different then. I made a drawing on my wall and I put something on top of it so no one would see it, and my mom, and I was only thinking these loving thoughts because I didn't know him yet, so I didn't know if he had not loving things. And so we came together because it was just pure, open-hearted love. It was just only like a blast of love that constantly went to this guy without attachment, really. Because when you're so young, I think there's way less attachment. Yeah. And you know what, Ronnie, you said if dating tips. One other important thing that I got from my interview with Ramona, and which she also said in another interview she did about dating, only focus on positive aspects of all the men you dated in the past, or women. Only focus on positive aspects. Don't go, nah, I don't want that again, because you will attract it for sure. And you will be like, why is this happening? Yeah, because you're focusing on it, dummy. So only focus on things you liked of your ex-partners and focus on things that you would love to see again. And all the things that you didn't like, not important, gone. No, only positive.
I love that. Save the date. The Delicious Alignment and the Wisdom of Oprah event is happening. Ramona Gailey and I have a date and location for our one-day workshop in the Asheville area on October 19th, 2024. The location is only 15 minutes away from the Asheville airport and close to the Biltmore, Black Mountain, Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, and much, much more. About the workshop itself, Ramona Gailey receives her guides called Oprah to answer your questions. Many call this channeling. This is a hot seat format similar to one you would see at an Abraham Hicks workshop, but much smaller and more intimate, with ample opportunities to interact directly with Oprah and get your questions answered. And as the author of Delicious Alignment, I will be facilitating a workshop, a 1-hour workshop focused on self-love, body love, and celebrating our food. There are only 20 spots available and registration will open this month. So stay tuned for more details. And what do you think about making a list of things that you would like in a partner, like your must-haves and your negotiables?
I think it's good to have clarity. I think our inner being and our higher selves, like God already knows, right? We don't have to keep repeating, I want this. It knows what suits. And it can also be fun. Like it can be fun to focus on it and make a list. Ooh. And this happened a couple of times that the list just came, what? And then I found out like, oh yeah, it's everything on the list, but it's actually not really what I wanted. So I would say do what floats your boat. If it feels good, do it. And I would say also go for qualities over like emotional qualities, because of course they need to be pretty or handsome. You need to be attracted to them, because otherwise
to you. Yes, you need to be attracted. I would say that's important. But
exactly.
Again, it's really up to you what feels good to you. Yeah.
But the whole brown hair, brown eyes only, I would go for it if it feels good, but I would leave that open, because I know of a lot of people that said, yeah, I ended up with so and totally not my type on paper, but I'm so in love with them. So just give yourself more wiggle room, because you're creating it.
Yeah.
In the end.
I like the list. I think clarity is really important for when you want to manifest things that you want, again, without attachment to a specific thing, but the clarity gives you power. I want a relationship, and these are the things that are important to me. Non-negotiable. I think negotiables and non-negotiables are important too, because again, I've been divorced once, and so wish I had those non-negotiables in there for the first marriage, and also knowing that nothing's wrong here, there's no mistakes, everything's perfect, and I got my daughter out of that relationship. But looking back, if I had gone with my non-negotiables, I probably wouldn't have gotten married to that person. And so I think it's powerful. It's to have a clarity about what you want. And again, not focusing too much on the non-negotiables, but I definitely don't want anybody that smokes cigarettes. Okay. Oh, meet somebody, they smoke cigarettes. I definitely want somebody who has a certain amount of financial stability. If I was to be single, let's just say I was single, I would have my list, me personally. But because that feels good to me. If that doesn't feel good to you, then don't worry about it. Like I met with a friend recently, and she said, I don't care about the money. I have money. I don't care about, I'm like, okay. Because I was helping her kind of make that list in a way in her own mind. I was trying to find out, because she was asking me for advice, which is weird because I don't really give advice anymore. It's let me talk to your inner being, and all the answers are within you. But yes. So what else would you like to say to anybody listening that would like to find their dude or their dudette or their they?
It is possible for you. When the desire is there, it is possible, period. Because that was a long time, it was my fear. Oh, maybe it's not possible for me. Now I know that it is. I'm just sifting and sorting like that. And the interesting thing is I integrate energies really quickly at the moment. So what I think I want in a partner. I meet it pretty quickly. We dance together and then I'm like, no, not interested anymore. And so I don't need to have physical intimacy for that. It's just an integration of something that I know I need. And so I would say, and I say, it is possible for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you will meet them when you're having the most fun. Like when you feel happy and joyful enough. So happy and joyful enough. You will meet the person and you won't go into, oh my God, what if they fall away? Because then you're in attachment and you need someone to make you feel whole. So make sure that you're first at that point that you're like, you know what? It would be really awesome to meet that person because I feel I'm ready. And not because I've been there for a while. It's been so long. I don't want to meet anyone in that state because when there's someone in my life, I will hold on to them for dear life. And for sure they will run because who wants that?
Because it's true. I've been there where I feel so lonely. I want that special, where's my person? I started at 13 years old with that conversation. Just boy crazy, wanting to be in love and wanting to have that experience. And it was like everything. And of course, as you get older, you realize that my happiness is within me. I'm the only one responsible for my happiness. And I think of my dear friends, Karen Money Williams and Mark Toms, they're from Florida. They run they started another Abraham Hicks group where people actually get together and have a meeting. And I went there for 10 years when they were having that. And I always think about their relationship because he would always say, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And Karen lets me know I'm not responsible for her happiness. And I just love it when they share that and he's not responsible for her happiness. She's responsible for her happiness. So he's off the hook. And I learned a lot from that because in the beginning of my marriage, a lot of times I would make my husband responsible. I'm not going to lie. I would make him responsible for my happiness. When I let go, stopped trying to control him and just knew that I'm responsible for my happiness, not him. The relationship got better. I'm sure he appreciates that very much. I know he does. And oh my God, they have such a beautiful relationship. And I am so thankful that I was able to go there for 10 years and just see them and see how they do things, how they really walk to live it.
It's super attractive. I find people that are centered within themselves so attractive. And of course, you can get insecure. That's actually cute as well. Yeah, I like it, especially the guys that I meet are all these really, they're gym dudes. They're strong, fit men. And then noticing that they can get shy. I'm like, oh, that's so touching.
They can get shy.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Oh, so sweet. Yeah. And I think to your point that when you focus on yourself and having fun, you will open the door and they'll be waiting online like for you. They're waiting on the side to talk to you. And maybe not like that. Maybe they'll show up at your door. Sarah Landon, I remember she was sharing how she says her partner, he literally showed up on her door because he's a veterinarian and I guess he was showing up for the horses or to something like that. I don't know the exact story, but he literally showed up on her door. That is amazing.
It's so interesting to me because what I notice is that people come to me and I'm just like, yeah, but what about these people that come to me? Don't they want someone to come to them?
Do you mean these guys that come to you, don't they want somebody to come to them?
Exactly. I was just wondering, like, how is it for them? But because this is an assumption. they are men, and men, they say men like to chase. But then at the same time, I think men also like to be wooed.
I actually like that question because with me, with my husband, even though like he threw me in the pool, that was obviously his way of flirting. And I would see him at the seminars. We met at Landmark Education, and he would flirt, but then he never asked me out. And
Yeah.
I was getting very frustrated. Like, why? Because I had that thought in my head that the guy should ask me out. That's what I want. I want the guy to ask me out. But I would see him at these pool parties, and sometimes I would bring my kids, and he would hang out with my kids and give them so much attention and just be so wonderful with my kids. That's way to a single mom's heart is
Mhm.
be nice to her kids. And so I was baffled and I didn't understand. So finally I just asked him out, and the rest is history.
I
But
love that. Tell me more. How did that go? Were you nervous? Like what happened? Were you at a pool party? Give us the deets, Rhonda.
oh, okay. Now there you go. Okay.
This is fun. I
Well,
love this stuff.
yes, I really, I guess, kind of old school in a way where I wanted the guy to pursue me. And
Yeah.
so I had an experience, a couple of experiences though, where I asked a guy out twice. I had two different people, and it didn't work out so great. I was working in a corporate world, and I felt like this man kept staring at me, like, and he was very nice. I liked him, and he worked in the IT department, but he never asked me out. So then I finally asked him out, and then he was like offended, like I would never fraternize with somebody that I work with, and it was just so horrible to get that rejection. I was
It's
like,
really
oh my,
painful.
to put
Yeah.
yourself out there. I don't normally go around asking people out. So
Oh, yeah.
it was really not devastating, but
But
definitely
I know.
hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
it burned. But I still, with this thing with my husband, I still, after a while, I'm like, I know he likes me. I know it. So I just couldn't take it anymore. I just asked him out.
Yeah, but yes, and I love it. But were you at the pool party? Was it at Landmark Education? Do you remember the
Oh
scene?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So you really I have to tell this story because at the pool party where another time it was adults and we were playing truth or dare.
Ah, yeah.
And someone dared. They were, I don't know, I guess they were picking up on something between us where I hadn't picked up on it at all. I was in the
Yeah.
pool, he was sitting outside of the pool. And I just had this thought like, what's wrong with that guy? Why doesn't he go in the pool with everybody else? And that was about the extent of it. That's it. But this lady friend must have picked up on something because we're playing truth and dare. And so she dared him to make out with me. So I was like this. I was hanging over the side of the pool. I was in the pool. And so when she dared him to make out with me, this is my memory. He tells it differently. He ran over to make out with me and we made out. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hello. Oh, and who are you? Like, that was
Yeah.
like a nice kiss. And
I love it. Yeah.
so then, even after all that, he still didn't ask me out. So I was like, for after that, and then so it was a few more times of stuff, getting together, seeing him in a group scenario. We all went to the movies in a group. We all did this as a group. It was always group. And then finally, I had this party to go to. It was a Halloween party, costume party. So I just thought I wasn't nervous. I just thought I'm just going to ask him to go with me to the party, and he said yes. So we didn't get crazy with the costumes, but I think I was like a vampire and he was like a nerd, which he is anyway. So we had the white shirt with pens sticking out of the pocket, and
I thought you were going to say nurse, but you said
nerd, yeah, which he is. He's a, yeah. So computer guy, techie. So and then we've been together ever since. But yes, So I didn't give up. I mean, I followed my inner guidance, even though the one guy rejected me when I asked him out. I still was following my guidance. And I
But
think I was definitely into spirituality. And I just said, screw it. I'm just going to ask him to the party.
yeah,
And yeah,
I love
that's what
it.
happened.
And I love it. And you know what? When you were saying that this guy at work reacted in that way, I'm just like, yeah, what? Always when people, because I've had it in the streets a couple of times that people just walk up to me to ask me out. And
Oh,
never been that I thought, ooh, I would like to go out with you. And I always say, wow, thank you for having the courage to do that, because I can imagine that's pretty nerve-wracking. And then I go into the, I'm flattered, but I'm not interested. And I think it's amazing when someone has the guts to do that.
yeah.
I, I applaud that. I'm just like, wow, good on you going for what you want.
Yes, really. And when you think about it, in my world, I don't know what it's like now. Obviously, everything's different, but in my world, it was traditional. I was more traditional in the sense that the guy asked the girl out. Now we have different pronouns. I respect all of that in whatever way, but I think still, like you said, it's takes some guts when I think about in the past the guys having to usually do the asking. Even going to clubs when I was younger and waiting around for somebody to ask you to dance. I could dance with my girlfriends,
Yeah.
but other than that, I felt like a wallflower. You just have to wait for somebody to ask me to
Yeah.
dance. I'm sure it's very different now. And I hated that. I hated that part of going to clubs and
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you know what? Because this whole new way of being, because when we are in a playful, light mode, things just work differently. Because I also take inspired action when I feel it. It has to be really inspired, though. I have to
yeah.
feel the surge. For the rest, I'm just happying myself into more happiness and vibrancy, not to get something, but simply because it feels better. And the great thing is, things do happen from that.
Yes. I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with girlfriends over the years. I want to meet somebody, I want to meet somebody. I'm not meeting anybody. And it's just go have some, just do what interests you.
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah. Your high.
the, yes, your highest excitement. Just do these things that interest you. It's in my belief that person, don't worry, the universe knows what you want. And because you can't orchestrate it. Like I did all the online dating stuff, but I didn't meet my husband that
Mm,
way.
yeah.
You know,
And I also did online dating, and I had some really cool boyfriends from that, and never the man, because it was always out of frustration that I went on to dating sites. It was never from, ooh, I like this so much. Or just, oh, I just want to meet someone. So what do you get? Someone that's actually a match to that energy.
yeah, it's like with anything, right? The energy you bring to it, go into it with.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just, yeah, that's not my game anymore. I'm going for high vibe. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going for high vibe.
Yeah.
Yes. This has been so much fun. We could talk about this for another couple of hours. I really enjoyed this conversation, which I knew I would.
Me too. I love it. I love this
Ye-
stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hearing what's next for you on your journey. And so I'd like to ask you, Victoria, because we didn't really get a chance to talk about anything like what you're up to. Are you a coach? I know you're multifaceted, as we often are. So tell me whatever it is that you'd like to let people know about what you do and how they can find you.
Yes. So I do, as you said, a couple of things. I have a vegan lipstick brand, which I put a link in the description if people are interested in knowing more about that, because I have a website, and this is a whole long story for a whole different time. And I will speak to Bo tomorrow about it, actually, about the lipstick.
Oh,
Uh,
Timothy Waterman.
yeah.
Okay. How can people find you?
I will give you my Instagram handles. I think that's the easiest because I also have a website with a blog with a lot of articles on this. I have a YouTube channel with a lot of videos. And if people are interested in finding out more about me, then they can just follow their guidance and click whatever feels good.
Okay, so what is your Instagram handle?
You want me to mention it now? So my full name, it's pretty long.
Okay, so I will put all of the links in the show notes and you can find Victoria that way, just her YouTube channel and her Instagram and all of that great stuff because she has a really long name and just it'd be easy just to click on the link. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, thank you for having me and for letting me give my side perspective on things. And if it feels good for whoever listens, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. Always go like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Victoria.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't know if you can tell, but I really had a blast talking to Victoria. And if you'd like to get in touch with her, one of the best ways you can do that is on her YouTube channel at Victoria-Monique. Just go to YouTube and search Victoria-Monique. I'll also post that link and all her links, including her website and Instagram handles, in the description below. And here are a few ways you can connect with me. You can go to my website, deliciousalignment.com. You can join my Facebook group, Delicious Alignment. And if you enjoyed this content, you can make sure to subscribe to this podcast or my YouTube channel or both. The podcast episodes are on both, so you'll never miss an episode. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Delicious Alignment. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I will see you next time.